Okay, so we've gone over to a second video here. This will be a number of videos we'll do. Now, as you can see, we'll go to the board first. Anyone notice anything remotely obvious about the board, apart from the fact that it's got broken mountings? Oops, we're going to need to come around on the side. Let me just come around. So here you can see how I've got the board back at its right height now. It's broken the side mounting there, broken the side mounting in there, bit of board missing, of which we've got sitting over here. So here's your little bits of board, etc., which are potentially able to be glued back on. But what we do, you're only gluing them back on just to make them look nice. What you have to do here is you create a piece of strip that will go across here, and it will actually re-support the board. And it's a little bit of, whoops, sorry, a bit of strip here, that's better, sorry. And you've actually got to re-support this board, and once again, re-support it here. Now, not so bad here, that one can be cleaned up, but this one here is a little bit of mucking around to do that, but can be done. Now, you might be saying, oh, come on, like the conductivity of all the moisture that this has had through here, you're probably looking at a number of, fairly big time-consuming, problems that will be coming your way. Look, maybe so. We'll see. But have a look at some of this. This is how much moisture and water, this is really quite something. They have a plate, which I've lost. Well, see, here it is. Now, this is the plate that actually goes over this section. So this allows you to be able to work on the board there. Now, this plate, believe it or not, is actually not too bad. You can see some sections here where it's had a bit of a hard life, but I would have expected that to have a lot more on it. So interesting that it's copped a lot around its exteriors, etc. So we'll just have to see how that goes. All right, put that over there. So as you can see, she's a fun one, and as I said, we've already, where this was, this piece here was down about here, so we've just panel beaded that up. Now, it's not 100% perfect yet. I just wanted to get it into place so that I could reset my board and not have the whole case hitting this and etc, etc. So what we'll do is we'll clean off a little bit of this here and just see how well a bit of acetone goes, and just see what's underneath all that crud that's sitting there, because that's what we really want to know. Okay, so what we've been doing, and it's been a fair bit of scrubbing, my trusty bottle of acetone, and normally I spray it on. My little sprayer's not working, so what basically we're doing is dripping a bit of acetone on there, of a few droplets of it, and what we've been doing is scrubbing acetone over this and getting rid of quite a bit of gunk, because gunk is not your friend. Gunk will definitely give you problems. Now, this has taken a while to get to this level, and I'm just making it look easy now because we're on the last little bits. But okay, so what we can see there from what you sort of did see is we've got a bit of a playing field here where we've got some issues, but we're not dead in the water yet. We're just a little bit cosmetically challenged, and possibly I'm expecting this not to transmit receive, or I'm not sure what I'm expecting it to do, but you know what, that really doesn't matter. We're really curious just to sort of make sure that we're cleaning up around the whole unit. Now, initially, just so you know, I'll be firing this up on 12 volts, just eliminating the power supply so that I can just see whether it's worth really investigating to the degree that that it possibly could be. What you're trying to do with a restoration is you're trying to work out, is it worth doing? But you've got to go through these processes to at least find out whether it's worth having a bit of a play. And certainly this board is cleaned up with a little bit of work, but it's cleaned up rather well. That doesn't mean that we don't have a million faults, as to the moisture and the problems that have been there. So we'll have a bit of a look, but I think we're getting pretty close to firing it up on 12 volts. I'll have to get out of the kitchen for that though. I'll have to pop into the other room, and we'll have a bit of a look to see if it even lights up. Okay, so what we've done is we've just basically fired this up. There's a problem in the DC circuit, so I spent some time since we, I suppose on this video no time has passed, but anyway, I spent some time checking out the power supply, and we're obviously running at 110 volts through our fella over here, 240 to 110 volt converter, and I found that we had voltage coming out of it and doing what it should do. What I did find as well was that I've just resoldered some cracks in the board that were giving us some intermittent lights, and it has got a bit of an intermittent PACB switch, which you'll see is now not intermittent for some reason because I'm pushing it more. Okay, alright, now I have not done anything since that. I would have no idea whether it transmits or receives yet. Okay, so we're going into TX. I can hear the relays, which is good, but yes, no transmit, no receive. So we'll look here. I'm just trying to see if we've got any audio squelch there, and I think you'll find that this is where this job gets interesting, from the point where, and don't get me wrong, the fact that it's firing up, as far as I've got LEDs, etc. I would just about put money on the fact that if I was to go to channel 35 and I was to put in my analyzer here, 27355, and I was to inject a million millivolts into this. We'll go up to millivolts because we really want to. So we're hitting it pretty hard here, and yeah. So basically what we know now is no receive, no transmit. That there's absolutely nothing going to happen from there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other thing too is we're not seeing receive or transmit lights there. Hang on, I may have too much LED light on this. Let me just turn that light off just in case I'm not seeing it. Yeah, see how we're not seeing any switching at all there? But we can see that relay there switching. Now, just because that relay is switching doesn't mean a thing. We could have contact problems, lots of things going on there that would be, and it's very suspect that the TX and RX is not coming up. But let's get back to basics. No matter what you feel in life, facts don't care about your feelings. Ben Shapiro, good on you. But it's true. Your next job is to go through and start checking voltages and just see what voltages you've got around the place. And for that, I'm going to have to go to my manual and have a look at my SAM's manual and bring up a circuit. And what we want to do is start checking regulators and bits and pieces, find out what voltages are there, what voltages are supposed to be there. I mean, we know we've got our 13.8 volts supply voltage, and that's great, and that's why we've got lights on here. But what we don't know is whether all our regulators are doing what they should be doing. So it's always a good place to start, and doesn't take long. And certainly, then you can start sort of hypothesizing about relays possibly being, troublesome PLL stages. I mean, look, the fact that we've got no TX-RX sort of showing on these two areas here, I mean, a couple of things. I could have two blown globes to start with. I could have an unlocked PLL that possibly the unlocked PLL, sends an indicator that says you won't get anything. This is where the service manual and your circuit is essential just to be able to work your way through. Now, fortunately, let's go find out if we've got one for this one. Okay, so all good news. I always go to the SAMS index on the web because it's just faster, and we find that the Royce 1641 is in manual number 201. So we come across to my gigantic mess over here with manuals, and this is all the SAMS manuals, a little bit sort of rubbish in the way of it at the moment, what did I say? 201, didn't I? I'm trying to remember now. Okay, I'm going to find out. Okay, so we go back here. Care of Mr. Ross, aka 3MY, who I would be lost without these manuals. Thank you very much, Ross. They've always been helping me to restore. Okay, so we find in here Royce 1641, absolutely. So fantastic. That's a win. Okay, because this video is getting to the 10-minute mark as well, this is probably a good time to sort of take a break. Otherwise, we're going to have this 500-hour video on the Royce 1641. But yes, so what we've got here is just so helpful. I can go through, check oscillators, I can check voltages. See what I'm talking about? If these voltages aren't there, and they even tell you transmit, receive voltages, if you start checking these voltages and you start thinking, and especially you can start saying to yourself, well, you know, there's my regulators, there's my, you know, outputs, there's etc. You know, you can really have a bit of a look through. It's not long before you start to work out that either all the voltages are there, which most commonly are not, you know, or you've got something that's open circuit somewhere, etc., that's maybe not causing a voltage issue. But 9 times out of 10, check those voltages. Once again, full board layouts, etc. You know, it doesn't get any better than the SAMS manuals for working on this sort of stuff. You know, this 1970s. Where do you get this information from otherwise? Well, you know, the truth is it's very hard. But it's even the power supply, all the circuits for that, they're all there, and they're really handy. Anyway, I'm going to call it quits for this video. The next stage will probably be after we've checked a few voltages, etc., etc. Excuse me. But I just getting a little bit time aware here. That just this video's gone to 11-12 minutes. So, and we've got a couple of other ones we've got to join to this. So we'll have to maybe do part 1, 2, 3 or something. But anyway, let's just sort of keep on going through, and we'll catch you on the next video and see how we go. Can we make this thing live? Well, we shall find out. Cheers, all the best.